Napoleon's Campaign 2 is not a sequel because it will be a different product, but we created in 2008 our first game on Napoleon, which was Napoleon's Campaign, and the main difference was this was a game where you had an annual campaign of each of the 10 years of the empire. And so they were playing only one, like Russian campaign, Austerlitz campaign, Waterloo campaign, only on a concentrated period of time with a very strict historical order of battle. And players enjoyed very much that game. They loved it, the look, the content, etc. But they had a major complaint. And at the time we couldn't do better. But they said, well, very nice guys, but no big campaign, no production, no diplomacy. So they were feeling that something was lacking. And so we said, when we decided together with the Paradox team what we will do next to do that, just tell you the whole story. And that's why we decided to go for Napoleon's Campaign 2, which is to put you in the shoes of the emperor or his opponent in 1805, and then it's up to you for 10 years and win the game. So what's the purpose? First and foremost, I would say it's a grand historical strategy game, but with a major focus on warfare. Because, well, the emperor is a soldier and it's all about military and war. That doesn't mean it's empty on other aspects. So we have a very nice economic system, but going to the point. The point is raise troops, win the war. So we have recruits and money, and you have production in the different regions of the game, and you have trade, which means an emphasis on naval warfare and blockade and all these things, because it's part of the trick. And British commerce is represented, and the French continental blockade as well, kind of things. Of course, the diplomatic model is quite detailed too, where you have interaction between these great powers, 7 of them, and the secondary nations in Europe. And it goes so far as like creating a nation, like if you are French and you liberate part of Poland from Russia and Prussia, you can create a Grand Duchy of Warsaw and create a new nation, which will be your satellite. Or as a British, you can train the Portuguese army to make them better soldiers to fight alongside you, and which will offset your lack of manpower. So, or you can also meddle with Americans, and then you end up with Britain having a war with the Americans in Canada, because some of the off-map regions have been included also to give more strategic scope to the game. And this is crucial for Britain because 1/3 of our income comes from overseas colonial possessions. So all these aspects are in the game, and they are contributing factors to the big story. So what's the show? The show is all about winning the game by fulfilling 2 key conditions. First condition is to become a dominant power, and we have divided dominancy into land or sea. You can get both. It's quite an achievement, but at least you win by having one of them. Dominancy being the stronger guy in one field. Better army, better leaders, better empire, selected regions that you must have, etc., etc. Maybe a certain number of advances or ideas. That's one part, but it's not enough, because then it's just a risk game, rule and conquer, and that's not fun, it's not historical, it's not the driving force between the game. So the second criteria, and it's extremely important for France, and for the other countries too, but as a negative aspect of France. France will win only if one is dominant in one of the fields, and second, Napoleon has been recognized as a legitimate ruler of the French Empire, plus as family members on the throne of 2 other nations in Europe. That means he has created a legitimate dynasty. And of course, the other nations who hate this upstart, revolutionary upstart, they have to fight him. And so they win by preventing the French to become an official monarch. So the second aspect of the game is that, okay, you rule, but you have to become, let's say, legitimate. And that explains also what happened in history and why the French made the stupid gamble invading Spain, for example. They had nothing to do there, nothing to gain, just piece of their best ally. But at some point, Napoleon saw the opportunity to put his brother on the throne of Spain rather than the legitimate king, and that was the start of the whole story. And why the player would do that if there was no incitement to do that. So opportunities to put some of your family on the throne of a nation will not be hundreds. So this is the world game. What is the world game is about is taking risks. At some point you will have to gamble, make a strategy. It's maybe risky, but it will pay off if you succeed. And this risk concept also will be at a lot of points in the game. For example, and that's a way also to speak about technology kind of in the game. We don't have tech research where you just dump money to get things. We have better something like ideas, military thinkings, reforms of army, well, ways of fighting. These things will come naturally but slowly, or they can come the hard way. If you are Prussia and you fight like Frederick the Great, well, fine, where's the best? And then we get trounced twice by the French. You say, why? And so you end up learning things from defeat. And we have introduced this risk factor again, like catastrophic defeat will lead to new ideas, new opportunities. And at the same time, well, my top Prussian general is 80 years old. Well, he's quite good, but a bit aging. And so at some point you will have also to decide to get rid of some of your leadership, reform the army command and structure in order to promote the new guys, the new generation that will be the equal of the French marshal who are winning so many battles. So here again, the game concentrates on the main aspect, which is military warfare.